Hey, Rich. My name is Keith, and today's stock is Keyera. Keyera, ticker symbol KEY or KEYUH in the States, I believe, is a midstream oil and gas company based in Western Canada. Now, what do they do? Well, Keyera produces things like propane, butane, isooctane, condensate, and among a few other products. Now, their basic business model is they bring in natural gas from other companies stored in these large caverns that they have near Fort Saskatchewan, Alberta, and then as needed they separate the products, fractionate them into more useful products such as propane for heating of industrial or residential places. So what do I like about this company? One is that it's kind of got a moat. So it's in a place where they have the use of these large caverns underground to store this gas, which is kind of an economic saver. They don't need to build giant tanks above ground necessarily to store a whole bunch of product. They can use these underground caverns, so they kind of have that in play, as well as several other facilities around Western Alberta, Canada and Western Alberta, and then they have a few pipelines. So these things are in place that other companies can't really get in the way of taking away their profit easily. So it's got a good moat. Now, the other thing that I like about this company is that its cost for its stock has gone down quite a bit in the last little while. Now, probably the reasons are because the price of oil for a while went down, and then there was the stock market kind of crash or slow down or downturn, I guess, whatever you want to call it, in the end of 2018. So it used to be trading in around the $40 range Canadian, and now it's about $27 Canadian, or $20 US, something in that range, which gives it a price to earnings ratio of 17.5. They have a forward PE ratio, probably a little bit lower than that, 15.9. And a price to book ratio of about 2.2. The grade, which is kind of average, I think, but because it's got a strong moat, it's something that I think is interesting. And also, they have a dividend which is really high. So 6.6% dividend, which they pay out every month. So if you like dividends that are paid out monthly, and high dividends, then this company really is probably something to consider. Because of their business model, I don't see why it couldn't maintain its growth, which its current growth for the last 5 years has been about 12%, which really is at the market pace, or maybe beating the market depending on how you look at it. And the other thing to think about this company is a lot of their profits. Now, the stock price goes up and down a little bit with oil, crude oil prices in general. So when the price of oil globally goes down, a company like this, their stock price might go down, but the flip side to that is that their profits are not based necessarily on natural gas or oil prices. They're providing a service of fractionation, so they split these products into propane or butane or whatever. So really they might have some exposure to the oil or natural gas, but their underlying business is really fairly robust. So unless demand hugely changes, it's unlikely to see this company struggle as far as being able to maintain its current dividend rate. That's something I'm currently thinking that makes it a good buy. Another thing is what they produce condensate, which is used in the refining or transportation of crude oil or bitumen to other fractionation or refineries areas. So recently in the news, the Alberta government has mentioned that companies are considering building a refinery in Western Canada or in Alberta. So if that happened, there's a high likelihood it would be positioned very close to Keyera's facilities or potentially in Fort McMurray, which they would still probably need some of their product or potentially use some of their product. Now, they currently use up most of what they make anyways for condensate and sometimes have to import extra from the US. But even if their regular consumption of it went down, it seems like if refining, if there's more refineries, large refineries being built in Western Canada, then it seems like a possibility that they'll just keep being able to use their product and they won't have any really lag in demand. So yeah, so my bull thesis really is that they have a moat. I don't know that they're going to grow exceptionally crazy. I don't know how they're going to grow much more aside from acquiring other businesses or splitting off parts of their businesses like old facilities that might not be as profitable. But really, they're very likely to keep their earnings going at a steady growth rate or at least stable growth rate, and then not really lose much of their market share, and then keep a great dividend. So if you want to buy it, the price of the stock, it's currently around 27 Canadian. If the price of oil goes up, I could see it going as high as into the 40s, $42 or something like that. But more realistically, it'll probably stay similar or slowly creep up into the 30s, somewhere into the 30s. So and then over time, you'd expect if the company keeps growing at around 12%, maybe you can keep eventually getting that kind of stock price appreciation, plus getting a nice 6.6% dividend. And if the stock price goes up, or if the company grows more, I should say, they'll probably increase their dividends, which they have in most years. So it would be hard to imagine that you wouldn't just keep bringing in money every month. So yeah, that's kind of my view of why it would be a really good buy. And as far as a negative view, really it's if the oil price in the world goes way down, or if there's some kind of huge catastrophe at their main plant or something, those are risks. Very low risks, I think. Oil could really slow down. People are trying to stop oil, but that's unlikely to happen in the next 10 years. So as a long-term buy, I really like this. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'm kind of curious if you guys have any thoughts on Keyera, if you guys think I'm missing something. Maybe there's huge risks for this company. Maybe you think it's going to go bankrupt, or maybe you think it's even got more headwinds and it's just going to shoot to the moon. I don't know. But if you want to write comments, that'd be great. Or just any other thoughts would be perfect too. Thanks for watching again, and we'll see you in the next video.